All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Maike. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not Maike. I'm Zoe, and I am Maike's co-host on Let's Talk Synesthesia. I'm doing the intro today because why not? So, Maike, how are you?
How am I? How am I? Hi, everybody. Hi, Zoe. I am really good. My heart is really full right now. I just left a client session, actually,
Nice.
which was so good. We made such good progress. We focused on hyperfixation on partners and meltdowns. It was really good.
Okay. Oh no, as in the meltdown part. No, oh no, as in
Yeah,
Okay,
the
sorry.
meltdown experience, of course, is
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
pleasant.
Yeah,
Talking
so the
about
oh
it
no
and
is for that.
understanding it. Yeah. The session was pleasant because
Nice.
we made progress. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and besides that, I feel good. You recommended new earplugs to me, and they arrived yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and my life has changed ever since. So,
I'm so glad it works. Yeah.
yeah. I don't even know the brand. Can you share the brand? I think they're called Calmer
Yeah,
Mini
Calmer.
something.
Calmer. It's just called Calmer, and I think the product name is called Calmer, and the brand is
Yeah,
called Flare Audio.
right. Flare Audio. Okay.
Yeah.
They're so good. So what I had the last couple of weeks is that every sound, like even when someone's talking, was painful, and I had to wear noise cancelling headphones in normal conversations with my grandma. I don't know what's going on right now, but they really help block it out. They have a different technique, I think, than the loop earplugs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm
I
glad it
feel
worked.
good, less alert.
Mm-hmm.
And what else happened? Oh, actually, I was at a neurodiversity workshop this morning as well
Oh, nice.
about neurodiversity in the workplace and how what a workplace can do to accommodate and understand neurodivergent employees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, I really liked how they structured it. And oh yeah, one thing that was new was they spoke about how you can, as an employer, use dyslexic friendly font in your emails and documents,
Oh.
which is just another thing to, yeah, it just opened another. I really liked how they
What's a dyslexic friendly font? Like
so they gave
Helvetica or
examples, and I think it's easily Googleable.
Googleable?
But I would imagine that it is one that's really easy to read, and where letters are more distinct, so not two letters look similar.
Mm.
And maybe it's also about the gaps between the letters, and just so it's really well readable. Yeah.
I see. That's great. I never heard about this kind of workshop here in Asia. I don't think.
I can send you a link if I attend another one.
Yeah. But it's just I never heard about employers talking about like neurodiversity inclusivity
Oh,
before.
right.
It's not even like it. I don't think they even think about it.
From the perspective of working in companies, I also never heard about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But from the perspective of seeing what is part of the neurodiversity movement, what is advertised, I do see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very rare still. I don't think a
Yeah.
lot of companies have that.
Mm-hmm.
Even more important that we take. I'm probably gonna give a seminar at the University of Edinburgh in a couple weeks to speak about that,
Oh.
and it's also public, so just come
Oh.
along, Zoe.
Yeah, I wish I was living there and not on the other side of the planet. If not, I would totally go. That sounds really cool. How are you with public speaking?
Awful.
Same here.
Yeah.
I get all awkward. Not that I'm not awkward in person anyhow, it's just more awkward and like on display for everybody to see.
Yeah. That's one of the things looking back at my life. I did so much moderation. I sang on stage, I played the guitar on stage, I
Mm-hmm.
was acting. and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? What happened? Now it all feels like a nightmare. I don't want to be observed, which is another thing a lot of autistic people have, right? The fact they
Mm-hmm.
know they are observed makes you just feel really uncomfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't give you the kick of, oh my god, now I have the spotlight.
Yeah.
It just
No,
makes you feel
definitely
less
not.
authentic.
Mm-hmm. You feel like you have to put on a show if you're being observed.
Yeah.
You can't really be your natural self.
I'm still dreaming of you and I recording a live podcast episode at the Synesthesia conference next year in Oxford.
I hope that can happen. Really, that would be so fun. Well, we'll see. We'll see how the timing goes.
Yeah. I mean, nobody invited us to do that.
That's true, but it's okay. We'll invite ourselves. We'll just do it.
Oh, we can do it on the parking lot. Nobody's gonna stop us.
Just like right outside by the entrance. Hey guys.
Yeah. No, I think it would be. I mean, first of all, it would be amazing to attend it. I would be really interested to see everybody's faces, and hopefully, a lot of people that I interviewed but never met in person. To meet you in person would be thrilling.
I know, same.
And then also to just chat about what we see and presentations we saw and the art we saw at the conference would be really cool. But let's see. That's in a couple months' time. So,
Yep.
and about public speaking, if I know what I'm talking about and when I'm more secure in what I want to present and I know my expertise and my audience, of course that helps. So I'm not going to be a complete mess, but it's not. I'm not indifferent about presenting.
I hate presentations when I was in school.
Yeah.
It gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah, I get that now. I was pretty good at it.
Really, I was never good at public speaking. Like I can dance on stage and whatnot, it's fine. But the moment I have to use my voice, I clam up, and that includes like singing as well. I just look like a plank of wood when I'm singing. I just don't move. My body is so stiff. But if I'm dancing, I'm totally fine.
Does it change when you can't see the audience?
Well, I know they're there, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, I see.
I can feel their presence.
You're not like a 2-year-old without object permanence, and you're just like, oh, they're not there. I can't see them. They're gone.
It's like, well, I can still hear them. I can feel them.
Yeah, I forgot. I just looked at my list before I'll ask you back how you are. I just learned about a couple new techniques. They're not really new. I just want to put the vocabulary out there. There's a Pomodoro technique for ADHDers, which is a time management technique.
Oh, what's that? I need to
it's
hear
where
this.
You study for like it sounds tasty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a tomato sauce or something.
Yeah. You eat while studying. No, you just study in stretches of 25 minutes. And then another thing was body doubling, which I love.
Body doubling, yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Did that in my last, and I also do it now with my clients, where if they just can't get something done, like calling their landlord or a doctor, or just can't answer that one email, we would do it in the session. So I would turn camera and sound off. They would get it done, and then we would return to the session. And just awesome. The effect of someone being there and holding you accountable is wild.
Yeah, that's what I do with like my friend all the time, like my best friend. I'm like, okay, I say I'm gonna do this, hold me accountable, and then she will like check in, and we do that for each other. Hey, you said you wanted to do this, have you done it? Usually it's no. It's like, oh damn it, okay, better do it now.
But it even changes when they are in the room and you're like, okay, you have that task, I have that task, let's do it, and let's return to our conversation in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think body doubling is really, really good. I used that the other day as well because I just couldn't start on like finishing up my edit, and I just he's working, okay, now I'm gonna work as well, and it worked.
It does.
Yeah.
There are sessions you can sign up now, like that. Yeah, a lot of people just provide working
Oh yeah, I know there's some online stuff where people just like have their webcam on and just do stuff together. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and then I have one more. I have an announcement for our listeners, but we'll do that after I ask you how you are and what's new. What's new with you?
Well, for me, I found 2 new forms of synesthesia that I have.
That's
One,
awesome.
it's like discovery. Every time I find a new one, I'm like, whoa, why didn't I see that or hear that before? So the first one is motion to sound. So I posted like a video, actually 2 videos, part 1 and part 2 about it on my Instagram. So if what I'm saying right now is not making sense, the listeners, you can go to my Instagram and look at it so it makes more sense. So basically what it is I can hear motions. My brain gives me sounds when I look at something a motion that has no sound. That was just a few weeks ago, actually. I was talking to another friend of mine and she was giving me, oh, I think we did talk about this, that dot video.
I think it was on the episode we had to dump.
Oh, right. Okay.
Your deaf
So,
friend?
yes, my deaf
Yeah,
friend.
no, it's
So,
not.
all right. Yes. Okay. So I'll tell you guys now. So my deaf friend sent me this video of like white dots going in and out of a center thing because I asked her about my synesthesia video and asked her, like, as a deaf person, what do you think and how do you feel about seeing like sounds visually like that? And then she was like, oh, actually sometimes I hear sounds when I see like movements, like videos. So she sent me that dots, the white dots going in and out video. She said I can hear like whooshing for this sound, and I'm like, oh. And then I looked at it and I was like, it sounds like bubbles. I can hear bubbles and the pitch goes up and down. She was like, yeah, my whooshing, the pitch goes up and down when it goes into the center and out. I was like, oh, what? And I went to look at like other motion stuff and I mute things and just to like
Mm-hmm.
see if I can hear anything. I'm like, wow, these are really loud. Like, oh my God, it's so noisy in my brain. I was like, wait a second, why didn't I notice this? It's really noisy. And I remember when I went to this art exhibition like a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago, and I I actually posted a video about my trip there. And there's one shot of this picture of a waterfall. And in the Instagram reel, I wrote, I can hear the waterfalls. That was my first sign. I didn't know.
Right.
I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I can hear the waterfalls. And that one I think was projected because I thought there were speakers. So I went around looking for the speakers and there wasn't. And I was like, oh, is it just me? I can hear
Mm-hmm.
like the waterfall sounds. But it didn't click to me that it was motion to sound because it was a still
Mm-hmm.
photography, a photograph. So, but I think because my brain can comprehend that motion of the water falling, so I could still hear it. So that was my first indication, but I had no idea until the dots video, and then I kind of figured it out. So I went to look for like animated logos and kind of mute them, and I can see if I can hear anything. And they're like laser sounds. They are like all these. They all sound like Foley, basically. Some of them are in my own voice making the Foley sound, so it's really funny in my head. Others is just random like thudding or
It's so cool.
yeah, the laser sounds. So it's pretty often depending on the animation. So I did a video of those animated logos. So I did my version and then I put on the original version. That one was really surprising. It's going on all this whole time, but yet I didn't know. And I remember like I would always laugh at certain things, and then my friend was like, "Why are you laughing at this?" Because to me, it just sounds funny. Like I can hear it, and in my head, it's just, "Haha, it's funny." And I'll be laughing at random things, and you're like, "What? I don't get it." Well, now I know why. There's all these random like sound effects in my head.
So cool. I wished I had that. I think for the waterfall, for you not to realize it, is a bit like on the last episode where we were eating foods and the taste and the smell looked like the food. And we were
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, well, that's obvious. And I feel like the waterfall as well is so close to, it could just be a memory.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's less obvious. It's less absurd. But seeing circles and them having a bubble sound, I feel like it's just a bit more obvious.
It's not alarming to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me go like, huh, wait a second. It's just more like, oh, okay, makes sense.
What I realized, I think I must have quite good audio imagination, because yesterday when I went to bed, and we recorded yesterday as well, I just heard your voice still. Like 10 hours after we recorded, I was in bed and
Really?
I could still hear you talking. Yeah.
What was I saying in your head?
I've no idea. Don't remember. No idea.
It's just like, hey, Maike, in your head.
No, it was more like the podcast would go on in the background.
Oh.
You were not directing your speech towards me.
Oh, I see.
It's like, yeah, when I explained a couple weeks ago how I have multiple layers going on at the same time, and the last layer is constantly playing music, I think that was replaced with the voices I heard over the day, and they were just kind of talking.
I see. Right. And I'm like talking to you for an hour in your headphones.
Wait, it's not enough for an auditory hallucination. It's just like thoughts have your voice. Oh my god.
No, but I know what you mean, because sometimes
okay.
like I have conversations with other people in their voices and my own voices. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you like practice conversation, or you have imaginary conversations with your friend or whatever, and you kind of like in your mind it switches between your voice and their voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like that. It was just not on the first layer. So I still had my thoughts in the background. I had that other people's voices. That's just not as interesting as your emotion synesthesia, so I'm sorry. I just dumped that on you.
That's part of it. It's all part of the whole makeup of our brain. All right.
It's constantly firing neurons nobody asked for.
It's like, no wonder we're so tired.
Exactly. And no wonder sleep is so disrupted often. What I wanted to say, we can't just jump over that. You have a deaf friend that has motion to sound synesthesia.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
I'm not sure how much you want to share about them, but can we just create a formal invitation for them to be on in whatever form they feel comfortable?
Yes. I am actually going to meet her when I'm back from Australia. So I'm going away for 2 weeks. So I'm going to schedule something with her when I get back. I think with her, we still need to experiment a little bit more, figure out a couple more things. And I need to ask her more questions about like her deafness and everything, I think, to get a better picture of how her synesthesia is, because I think hers would be very different from ours.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, so, and like the forms that she have. Yeah.
No, that's super cool.
But she did kind of explain a little bit on how like she hears things and all that. So she can hear 100% when she has a hearing aid on. It's just that the signal that is being received in her head is different from like average people. So she was explaining to me in shapes. It's so funny. She was like, for example, if the sound is round, my ears will and my brain will receive it as a triangle. And she was like, I don't know if that makes sense. I was like, you're speaking my language. That makes perfect sense to me. Like, yes, I totally understand what you're talking about. Talk to me in shapes and stuff and colors. Yes. Yeah. So that was one of the examples she gave me, but I need to speak with her more and ask more questions to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
Definitely ask her if she wants to be on our podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, just explore it more. There's no rush at all. It's just very interesting. The same thing for maybe a blind person is listening. And maybe that's on top of my list for forever. Drug-induced synesthesia and synesthesia in blind people.
Drug-induced as in what kind of drug? Like acid or LSD or weed?
Mushrooms.
Mushroom.
As well.
I see.
Yeah. And what would also be really cool, and I said it a couple times already, but someone that did not have synesthesia until they had a brain surgery and then developed synesthesia after an
I've heard of
operation.
that before. Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, so maybe it makes sense to just put it out there again. All the people we're looking for as guests, because we have more listeners now. So maybe someone knows someone.
I'm kind of curious about the people who get synesthesia like halfway through their life because of a brain surgery or a brain injury or something. Learning to manage, like for us, we have it since we were children, so to us it's like completely normal. But for them, they have like that gap of having it with not having it and then having it. I'm sure it's like super jarring because they can see the difference and feel the difference, and I wonder how would that impact their emotional health and their mental health and everything.
It's terrifying.
That would be real.
Or it
Yeah,
can be.
they're probably just like, what?
That makes me think I should put that on my website a bit clearer, because I think that's one of the times, exactly like you just said, if you grow up with it, it might be difficult to deal with it, but it's a different urgency.
Yeah, it's like you're used to it.
But post surgery, where you potentially had like existential threat because of whatever tumor or injury you had, and then waking up feeling like, quote unquote, turning insane, like that's what I imagine people thinking.
Right.
All of a sudden seeing colors when they hear music.
Like, I think there will be like the things that we think are normal, they'll be able to tell that it's not normal and it's happening within them, and they'll be like, wait a second. Like that feeling of like, I know this isn't normal because I didn't have this before.
Yeah.
That fear, or that, I don't know what it is.
And then also the person taking care of you, the speech pathologist or neurologist or nurses, them maybe not being aware of it either makes it even scarier, of course.
Yeah.
Because if someone would be like, well, yeah, that can happen, just so you know, but you can look it up, and here is Maike Preißing, a synesthesia coach, reach out. Okay. But if they actually have no idea what the patient is talking about, how scary.
Yeah, I think that would scare the patient a lot, even more. It's like, you're supposed to be like the pro or the expert, and I'm coming to you and you're like, what's that? That would be so scary, especially coming out from like a brain surgery. So much unknown already, and here's another one.
Imagine all of a sudden you can taste words and you didn't before. That must be really freaky. Okay. You said you discovered a second form.
Right.
Let me just do my quick announcement. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
What I want to do for an episode in the future, and this is a call out to everybody listening. I want to have a community episode where I have at least 10 listeners speak and just introduce themselves or introduce their business or a product they have. I know one woman that I met at the Synesthesia Awareness Day meetup. She's writing synesthesia children books.
Oh.
So whatever you want to put out there, maybe just an experience, a form you have, something you're looking for. It can be anonymous too, but you can also just give your website, your contact details, your business, whatever. Just send a 30-second to 4-minute voice note to my email, or you can text me over Instagram and ask for my email if you can't find it, but you should be able to find it in the show notes too. Yeah, and then I will edit it together to a community episode. Everybody can get to know everybody, and you can have a space to advertise whatever you want to advertise and get your word out there. And I'm really looking forward to that.
That sounds really cool. You're giving them a platform.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I love that.
Do you know when?
It's all about community and education. I think that is really the game changer in it all.
Absolutely. Yep. Do you know when that's going to be?
Whenever I have at least 10, I think.
Okay. So the sooner people send you stuff, the sooner you can
exactly,
have it done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you can also just send an email now saying, I want to do it, and then I can arrange it a bit more. So we'll just see. What are you going to advertise?
I don't know. Should I? I think I should like give that spot to
Yeah.
another person. I mean, you have me on every other week, so I think I have enough platform.
No, I was just joking. I mean, I would put it in, of course. Cool. Okay, so that's it from me. Back to you, girl. What's the other
Okay.
form you discovered?
So the second form that I discovered is smell to color. Everything is like color for me. Like my friend was
Same.
like, everything is color to you. I'm like, I guess so. Smell to color. So it happened when I was at my teaching job and my client walked into my booth and I could smell his clothes, like the laundry smell. And I see all these like white clouds coming up from the bottom of my vision going up. It's in my mind's eye, even though I say it's like vision. And I was like, wait a second, what is this? And he was saying some stuff and I was like, oh no, you have to focus, what is he talking about? But all I can see it's the clouds and I was like, oh no. So that was very distracting and quite jarring, and it's the first time I noticed. And then after that, I had a bit of break, so I went walking and like shopping, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk past this like perfume shop and see if there is anything. And I walked past it. I was like, oh, pink. Oh, green. And I was like, oh, damn. I didn't know that. So
Yeah, you unlocked another. What is it?
another
I don't know.
synesthesia. Yeah. Like my best friend was saying, like how like I'm like earning experience points, and like in a
Yeah,
game,
exactly.
I'm leveling
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. A new key to a new perception door in your video game that is called life.
Yeah. Life is like very colorful fonts. Yeah.
And is it ever unpleasant?
Like the color
Unpleasant?
or the smell?
The
Color.
smell to color.
I didn't pay attention when it comes to like bad smells yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite sure. I'll check the next time if I smell something bad. But usually I gag. So it's like, ugh, and then I'm not looking at any colors. I'm just trying to not actually puke. So I don't know. But I will pay attention next time to any smelly smells to see how they look like. I don't want to go looking for them. I just,
Yeah, maybe don't. Maybe don't look for the bad stuff.
yeah. I mean, if I hear
Let's
it,
keep the door
I mean,
shut as long as we can.
yeah. So only if I accidentally smell it, and then I'll see if I see anything.
Reason I'm asking is because colors are never unpleasant for me. I think I said it before. They're just neutral. But episode 20, where I spoke to Sheila from the African Synesthesia Society, she explained that she, of course, doesn't like the pain when she experiences pain, but she also doesn't like the colors that come with it and anticipation of what, and also the I can't say it, the anticipation of the color.
Mm-hmm.
She knows she will get period cramps in a couple days. She knows she will go to the dentist in a couple days. She's already dreading not only the experience of it, but also the synesthetic response to it, which was new to me because I don't have that.
I mean, I understand like the dreading the experience thing, but she even like dreads the colors that would come with it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But what if like she sees those color on a poster or something? Would she dislike the poster because of the color reminding her of like this pain experience she had once?
No,
Like,
I
would that?
don't think it goes in that direction.
Okay, so it's just like knowing that she will be seeing colors when she feels those things. I see.
So I guess the point is that, and maybe she has to let us know if that is completely bullshit. The way I understood it is the pain, of course, is uncomfortable, but the synesthetic response, the colors, the translation of that pain also holds a uncomfortableness that for
Oh,
me just doesn't. They're two separate things, I guess. The pain is uncomfortable, and then what I see is not emotionally loaded.
Right.
On top of it, it just colors.
Right. It's like watching television.
Yeah, it's just there.
It's just like, oh, it's just there. Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it's the same though. Like I will only have aversions to certain sounds if it's like a bad physical sensation. Then I'll have like aversions to them.
Yeah,
like the sounds that I don't like is because it physically hurts. Like I really don't have like oh, I don't want to hear that because it's just an ugly color. Like the color is just separate from my emotions, I guess. Yeah.
So I think the way it would make sense for me, or just a way to relate to what she explained, is if I would have period cramps and they always look the same, and I know what period cramps look like for me, but if instead of those blue, red, cloudy things, it would be the image of a car accident that would pop up every time I have the pain, then I would not only be dreading the fact that I would have cramps, but also the fact that the cramps will be
the car
accompanied
crash
with an image that I can't avoid, cannot erase. It will be there. So I also
dread that.
Dread the experience that will come with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I understand. It's like you're being forced to see something you don't want to see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's like going to work and you have to see your boss.
The green.
I'm just kidding.
That's true.
That was mean.
I understand.
I don't have a boss. Just put it out there.
your own boss.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I have to wake up and see myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh,
it's your fault. You point at yourself. It's your fault. Actually, when you're talking about like pain, synesthesia, the other day, but because I'm a really clumsy person, right? So I would always like hurt myself accidentally, and I was in bed. It's completely dark. I have my projector screen on and was playing something on the projector, and I accidentally scratched my own ankle with my toe. I don't know how that happened, but it just happened.
You didn't cut your nails.
Right, but I was lying down. I don't know how my foot got in that, like my right toe like scratched my left outside ankle. Like the outside of my ankle, it's not on the inside. I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Yeah.
It scratched it. Yeah. And I was like, it really hurt. And I like squeezed my eyes shut and I could see like dark red blobs, like 1, 2, 3, or maybe even 4. Like when like where my toe like went down in that direction, I could see like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was very dark red. It's almost black, but I could see it. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I was like, oh, that's the first time I've ever noticed that I actually like saw something. But because it's really dark, I'm already on my bed. I didn't check my foot. I'm like, it's fine. It'll be okay. And then I forgot about it till a few days later. And when I looked at the scab, it is in that round 1, 2, 3, 4 that I saw. Yeah, like it looked like that. Like I think that I still have a bit of scar here. I could show you, but then I would lift my leg in a very acrobatic way to show you, and I don't think you want to see that. I'll take a picture and I'll show it to you.
My question would be, when you felt it, you didn't feel the 1, 2, 3, 4.
I might have felt it because like it wasn't like a smooth scratch. It's kind of like a bumpy thing because like the folds of the skin or something. I don't know. So I could see like the 1, 2, 3, and then now if I look at it, I mean it's still here. The little scar. There's 3 blobs, like circular blobs. 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe there was a 4, but it healed. I don't know. That looked
so
like
I guess
that 1, 2,
even
3
though your tactile experience was a bit more blurry, your synesthetic response picked up on that pattern.
Is that what it is? Because I don't know what that is. No, I was like, I need to ask Maike about this after that. But I forgot until now. I don't know if that's like pain related or if it was tactile related. Because I don't think I have tactile too, like touch to color or touch to anything. Like I don't have any of it.
there's this wonderful term of one-shot phenomena.
All right. Maybe
Some
it's that.
stuff just happens and then it goes away.
Right.
But it's a tactile. If you didn't hear it,
No.
but you felt it on your ankle, something, then that was tactile. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Is
I guess
tactile and pain the same thing?
no.
Okay. So probably it was the tactile and not the pain that I was seeing.
I wasn't there. Was it painful?
Okay. Yes, it was very painful.
Okay, well, pain or like getting injured is a tactile experience, so it would fall
Right.
under the understanding of tactile. But
Okay.
you can also just have pain-related synesthesia without having touch-related synesthesia.
Mm.
And also, we don't have to categorize it at all in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it
Right.
was a surprise sensation that you felt, and maybe it will happen again. Maybe it happens all the time and you don't notice.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was more surprising because I would have that for sure. And I didn't even pick up on the fact that it was a first for you. So what I was trying to say is that you were surprised about the 1, 2, 3, 4 thing, like the 4 little scratches that you saw. You felt them not as distinctive, well, whatever. But then you saw your ankle, and it was actually similar to the image you saw. And that's something that is just very interesting about synesthesia, how we visualize something that is giving more information, more in-depth information about something than what we felt physically.
Right. It's like
Did I confuse you?
like an expensive, not expensive, but like expansive, like a wide expand, like expanding, expansive experience to things.
Now I'm confused too, but it did remind me of Hari, who struggles reading emotions, but he can see the emotion in people's voices.
In colors?
So if he would talk to someone, he would have struggle understanding if they are angry or happy. But due to his auditory visual synesthesia, he will see what they say, and the saturation level depends on the other person's emotion.
Oh.
So if you would tell me, I have news for you, and I wouldn't know you're angry or happy, which a lot of autistic people experience, for someone who's autistic and has synesthesia, and that specific form, I think I've never heard of it before. I think it's awesome that he has that.
It's like you don't have it, but have it too.
Exactly. So he would just look at the color and the saturation level, and then he would know, Zoe has happy news for me. So something perceives the information of the emotion very clearly. But he has to translate it, or has to...
Right, it goes a bit of a detour. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for not a neurotypical brain, but a brain that doesn't have to do that detour, it seems like a detour. But if we would all function like that,
then it's not really a detour.
It's not a detour.
Right. But it's just interesting, though. But it's just so interesting, like how he can't do it the regular way, but he can do it in the synesthetic way. But it both still works, so.
It's so amazing.
But I would imagine he really needs to... He spent a lot of time figuring out what it was. Like, he needs to decode his colors and the saturation, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It took him a while. And it's funny you say coding, because he is a coder, and he does currently code synesthetic app.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
But it does raise a question of, like, not only our conscious perception of something perceives whatever we're interacting with. There's a lot more information perceived that might not be, why is it so hard to explain that in English? Help me, teacher, help me.
It's like I can fill in the blanks for you. Just keep going. I just need to know where you're going, then I can fill in the blanks.
Okay. Well, I need to know where I'm going. The brain is so much more complex and perceives so much more. And there's so much information that we probably just only can access through a different channel. And for Harry, that would be reading the colors that he immediately sees when he hears someone speak. And those colors they hold information that he thought he doesn't have access to because of that autistic trait. But it's there.
Right.
You know, his system consumes the emotion of the other person.
It's just processed in a different way.
And then provides the information through an unusual way, but it's still, you can still work with it.
Yeah.
So going back to your scratchy scratch.
No, that makes sense. No, I'm just trying to so it's kind of like, it's just like a different map to the same destination.
And I just want to say as well, of course, it can also come with disadvantages to not being able to read emotions in another person, in yourself, in the room. It can really also be disabling. It's not just, you just have to find a way to read it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we know nothing about the brain.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's like it's our own brain, but the brain doesn't. It's like you can't even, like, we have the brain, but it just cannot comprehend itself. It's so weird. We're using the brain to understand the brain, but we can't really do that because it's like, is it an illusion? Like, what is the brain is the only organ we use the same organ to figure it out. The rest,
it's the only organ that named itself. Like the name brain was picked by a brain. Thinking about neurodiversity so much and how it affects how we see reality and how we just experience the world and go about our day made me think so much more about brain health, which is something I never really paid much attention to, and I still could do a lot better. That's the thing about us psychologists. We preach stuff and still sometimes are not able to do it for ourselves. Okay, girl. One thing about the UK, I will be in London last week of October. There's a synesthesia art exhibition. Yay. And I want people to join me. So if you're based in London, let me know.
I wish I could be there.
I'm going to FaceTime you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, let's do that. All right.
Thanks everybody for letting us sit in your ear. Do send your voice note to my email, which is, I can just say it here, I guess, Maike Preißing at synesthesia.at.
Oh, that's your email?
It's one of my email addresses, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the one that doesn't land in people's spam folder, which is good. Okay, take care, Zoe, and take care, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Let's Talk Synesthesia. There will be a new episode of Series 1 every Tuesday. If you enjoyed listening, you can like, follow, and share. Details about the podcast and how to connect with today's speakers can be found in the show notes. The executive producer was Maike Preißing, with music by Corinne Anderson, and the podcast was supported by a couple more neurodivergent people in the background. See you next week.